영어쉐도잉 intimate micro cinemas gave popularity. In many parts of the world, cinemas are still struggling to bring in audiences. In some instances, film fans not totally won over by streaming are exploring new ways of watching movies by going to what are called micro cinemas. Here's Tom Brooke to explain more. Micro cinemas can be found in all kinds of New York locations inside this former fire station or behind this nondescript Berkeley storefront. Then modest makeshift spaces often showing experimental or not mainstream work. Microcinema is, put simply, just a small cinema. You really don't need more than folding chairs, a projector, and white wall. Staffed often by dedicated volunteers with a passion for film, microcinema programs use their imagination to offer something quite different from the multiplex's experience. The mission is run labs around better subsidized for appropriate repertory movie theaters by showing film that should be on their readers. It's usually gonna be a monster movie from the 1970s that played the midnight, or perhaps a groundbreaking documentary fiction hybrid about some, Nietzsche's extremely important political issue, from a bygone era. This trailer is promoting a long-established New York microcinema, the CTV, a venue that has a loyal following. B. Kim Video? Among the recent documentary show, here was Kim's Video, a film which explores a legendary now closed New York video store. The co-editor of the documentary came to the DCTV screening. To him, a big plus of microcinemas is that they provide a space for filmmakers like himself to interact directly with audiences. It's like a learning experience for both sides. I feel like it's rather unique to small cinemas in a way you never get a multiplex. So I don't need to have enormous audience. I'm not even that excited about a million people streaming at home as much as I am having a small dialogue with the audience. Who cares about movies? In the financially fragile world of independent filmmaking, microcinemas are being seen as a real lifeline of particular help to documentary filmmakers. We are a part of a documentary ecosystem in the world, and when we opened which was right after the pandemic. It was also just a really challenging time that most documentary films are not being bought, and we are one of the few cinemas in New York that can screen film that don't have distributor, distributors. Also, part of this universal that includes micro cinemas is an endeavor called mono no wherein, in addition to streaming, it gives people the opportunity to literally handle film and make movies. The idea to put the digital revolution to one side and generate respect for the art of filmmaking with supervised instruction. We teach a number of workshops. We are a learning lab, so we teach Super 8, 16, and 35 motion picture filmmaking. Those who run micro cinemas view them as a permanent feature of the landscape, a way of seeing film which will prevail and develop. Microcinema will continue to evolve because cinema itself is always evolving. At the same time, I think that part of the allure of microcinemas and cinema in general is that they address a very fundamental need for people to come together to partake in a kind of public ritual in a shared space. That desire to see movies together perhaps more than anything else what stays micro cinemas. Despite the convenience of streaming, gathering together in the dark, even in small numbers, to watch a film still for many hold an unbeatable magic. Tom Brooke, BBC News, New York. 30. What more? In many parts of the world, cinemas are still struggling to bring in audiences, in some instances feeling fan not only won over by streaming are exploring new ways of watching movies by going to what are called micro cinemas. Here's Tom Brooke to explain more. Microcinema can be found all in kind of New York location inside this boomer fire station or behind this nondescript Brooklyn storefront. Then modest makeshift spaces of enjoying experimental or non-mainstream work. Microcinema is, put simply, just a small cinema. You really don't need more than folding chairs, projector, and white wall. Staffed often by dedicated volunteers with a passion for film, microcinema programs use their imagination to offer something quite different from the multiplexing experience. The mission is front-left around better subsidized for appropriate movie theater by showing film that should be on the radar. It's usually gonna be a monster movie from the 1970s that plays at midnight, or perhaps a groundbreaking documentary fiction hybrid about some, niche but extremely important political issue, from a bygone era. This trailer is exploring a long-established New York microcinema, DCTV, a venue that has a loyal following. loyal following. B. Among the rich documentary show with Kim's Video, film which explores a legendary now closed New York video store. The co-editor of a documentary came to the BCTV streaming. To him, a big plus of microcinema is that they provide a space for a filmmaker like himself to interact directly with audiences. It's like a learning experience for both sides. I feel like it's rather unique to small cinema in a way you never get at a multiplex. So I don't need to have an enormous studio, and I'm not even that exciting about a million people streaming at home as much as I am having a small dialogue with an audience who cares about movies. In the financially fragile world of independent filmmaking, microcinema are being seen as real-life life of particularly help to documentary filmmaker. We are part of the documentary ecosystem in the world, and what we opened, which was right after the pandemic, it was also just a really challenging time that most documentary films were not being bought, and we are one of the few cinemas in the Europe that can screen films that don't have this period. Also, part of this universe, this includes microcinema. It's an endeavor called mono-nowhere. In addition to screaming, it gives people the opportunity to literally handle film and make movie. The idea to put the digital revolution to one side and generate respect for the art of the filmmaking, which provides instruction. We teach a number of workshops. We are learning lab. So we teach Super 8 to 16 and 35 motion picture filmmaking. Those who run microcinema view them as a permanent feature of landscape, a way seeing film, which will prevail and develop. Microcinema will continue to evolve because cinema itself is always evolved. At the same time, I think that part of the allure of microcinemas and cinema in general is that they address a very fundamentally for people to come together to partake in kind of public ritual in a shared space. That desire to see movies together is perhaps more than anything else what stays microcinema. Despite the convenience of streaming, gathering together in the dark in a small number to watch a film still for many hold an unbeatable magic. Tom Burke, BBC News, New York.